So this is a video of a modern door that was broken being replaced with a Victorian door, and what I did to do that. Look at the inside of this door, and you can see that there's no structure inside, it's just hollow. This is a bit boring, but it's just showing some of the things that I had to remove from the old door. I've just been trimming up the door that we got for £5. It's an internal door, but I think it's pine or something. That's all we need for inside. Yeah. So a bit of context. The door that we got secondhand was trimmed to dimensions that I thought matched the original door a few days before those earlier videos, and you can see the work going on to do that. Now we're back in the house more recently with the trimmed door, trying to fit it into the frame and see if it works. Cameo by Shiloh here. Right, let's get back to fitting this door. You can see on the ground I've gone and put some paper and a paper booklet to prop the door up for the sort of height that I want when it's on the hinges, and I can now see how closely it fits the frame. So the first thing is, oh dear, we're going to need to trim a bit. So here we are again. I've already trimmed it using this little table saw to the dimensions of the original door, but I got it slightly wrong. I was a little bit too cautious not to cut too much material off, so I'm trimming it back down again, second trim, if you like. Just a little point, which is that trying to cut a long object sideways can be quite tricky, and you can see us struggling there, managing in the end. In retrospect, I could have set up a hand circular saw and a ruler, and it might have been easier. Something else that hasn't been mentioned is that as well as the height needing to be brought down to fit in the frame, the width only just allowed the door to fit in the frame without hinges. So ideally I'd use a planer. I don't have a planer, so I used a sandpaper roller machine thing with a very aggressive grit 40. So you barely touch the wood and it's taken a millimetre or two off. And that's me trimming there. Can't be exactly sure, but I have a strong suspicion that this isn't even the final cut. Lots of trimming, putting it back up, trimming it again, putting it back up. Lots of permutations. Yeah. So, small gap at the bottom to stop mice. Yeah. Versus bit of a gap here. My instinct is that when this is painted the same colour, it won't be too noticeable, but at the moment I'm aware it is quite noticeable.
What are the gaps like on other doors?
Hugh talking and looking at other doors and faffing around with the camera and the other door.
To keep the mice, any potential
One mouse
away.
spotted.
One mouse.
And we keep the dog food in there, so it's a bit critical.
Yeah, I think how it is there is fine.
Okay. Never tried this before. Don't know what I'm doing. I've got here, you can see 3 holes for the screws for the hinge. And traditionally, there's a recess. Okay, so painted around, I'm gonna just the two obvious sides are actually taped up. And for this side, which you're not going to see because the door's going to be on it, I'm just going to rub with some white spirit. Just working out what to do with the lock, I was going to say the lock mechanism. It's not a lock. The I don't know. This thing. I have used this drill. So first I used the small drill bit that looks like this, and I put like a pilot hole through the wood, deep, or as deep as the little hole will go. And then this one, with this quite sharp end there, follows the pilot hole and makes a hole that big, which allows this mechanism for the door, which I've just checked does line up. So that's really nice. So I had a choice. I could either move the door hole for the lock mechanism, handle mechanism, to go here, and move this piece on the frame, and then try and fill up the frame. I think it's quite hard to fill up that frame like that without it being a bit obvious, potentially. I'm not sure, but yeah, not sure about that. So I went with this option, and I only just got away with it because this unit here is that long. Do you see the problem? This drill had just started to appear through the door. You can just see it there, that little point there where the wood, and let's see, try and zoom in. You see that little mark there? That's where this corner of the drill, side of the drill, had just started to appear. But thankfully, it does actually fit. So I'm now going to look to recess, a little recess in here. I might have to YouTube that actually, to just cut out a bit of material for the plate. And I'm being a bit ridiculous. I'm reusing this really crappy plate. But yeah, for that plate to recess in there, I'm going to need to probably use a chisel, but I'm going to look at it. That's my prep work before I got to it with a chisel. Now I've got the lock and the hole fitting in fine here. I need to just work out how deep my hole needs to be to have the handles. So I'm going to turn this off, but when I do, I'm going to grab this tool here, which is called, I think it's called an awl, and it's quite useful. You often don't get it. I think I got it in a tool set or a screwdriver set, but it just lets you make a pre-drill hole manually. Right, I've got my hole there. I'm gonna see if I can fit these screws heads flush with this, because there's no point finding out afterwards that it's the wrong screw selection. So let's see, is that flush? That is flush. That's really nice. We can use that. Now we have the plate fixed in, and we also have the hole for the rod for the handle to go into the mechanism. We had to move this a little bit to the left with a chisel. This looks like tuna spread. It kind of, yeah, very much looks like tuna spread. It's sawdust mixed with PVA glue. So not readily apparent, but I've been mixing up that sawdust with the glue to put in and fill up the hole from the previous lock. So I did a bit of fillering there, and I also put the handles on and did some painting. And now we come to the end. The wife opening it, I'm probably
Didn't realise I was going to be on TV.
Probably not going to include my rant about the deficiencies of that handle design.
Not necessary.
No, probably not. Ta-da! go. A new door.
Tidy the cupboard now.
It looks like a cupboard.
Listen for the click. Okay, it doesn't click. Wait.
It's hard to push it in without putting the handle down.
Thank you, Annie, for our
Yeah.
new door.
It works anyway. There we go.